Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lenette Looks. Today I'm going to be discussing the latest book that I got through, and it is Phillip Pullman's The Subtle Knife. And this is the second book in a trilogy, and the first book is The Golden Compass, which I loved, and it actually was my favorite book that I read in 2021. Again, if you're new, I just started really avidly reading mid last year. So I am going to be discussing older books that came out earlier, and you might have already read them, but since I'm just at the beginning of my journey practically of putting reading in the forefront of my life, so I am really enjoying it, and I'm enjoying reading books that are popular or books that are not so popular but I stumbled upon and was interested in reading. If you haven't seen my review and discussion of The Golden Compass, I encourage you to go ahead and click on the link in the description box, and you can watch that if you want prior to watching this one. So, or after. I mean, I don't think that you would get lost with what I'm saying as far as discussing this book if you haven't read The Golden Compass. The movie is out, so a lot of people probably have already seen the movie, but if not, I don't think you'll get lost with this discussion. So anyway, this book follows Lyra, and just like in the first book, The Golden Compass, she was on an adventure, and now she's on a new adventure. She's in a new world, and in this world, people do not have their demons or their spirit outside of their body called demons. In this world, it is more like our own, where you don't see everyone's spirit. You don't see everyone's spirit walking along beside them. So it's kind of like this world that we live in now. So Lyra is on a new adventure in this world, and I'm not going to give any detail about how The Golden Compass ended. If you have not seen it or still want to read the book, I'm not going to spoil it for you. So I'm just going to say the book ended off really nicely and at a cliffhanger, of course, because it is a trilogy, and so he wanted you to want to have mystery, so you're wanting to read this second book. And that was me. I was one of those people. I was really wanting to know what happens with Lyra and what happens with her parents. Where are they now, and what are the new adventures that all of them are going to be on. I feel like this book was basically to introduce you to a new character, and his name is Will. He's 12 years old, I believe, so around Lyra's age, and she meets him, and just like Lyra, he is on a search and discovery to find his dad. Will is a young boy, and he's taking care of his mom. His mom she's like mentally ill, so she's not like fully there. So he's having to watch over her. He's having to make sure that she's doing well, and basically he's her parent, even though she's the parent. And in this world, he is also wanting to search for his father. His father has been gone for, I believe, a year or two, and he's basically gone missing. He went on an excursion for his job and never returned home. So Will is determined to find his dad. So Lyra, in this new world, she is trying to also find her dad, where he went, and what his adventures are, or what his intentions are. Currently, she's off to find him, and she's off to find the answer to what these mysterious particles called dust are. And she was seeing it in her world, and she wanted to know what these mysterious bright lit particles are. So she's on a search to find her dad and to find out what the heck these particles are. And so we have these two children who are hiding from adults because they don't want to get found out. They want to find what they're looking for, and without getting caught, because obviously they don't have parents, they don't have guardians. So any adult that finds them on their own and not in school, they're gonna question them. Where are you? What are you doing? And so they are like in hiding. They're on this journey together. They don't trust each other in the beginning, but as time goes on through their adventure, they start to confide in one another, and their friendship really does develop into something nice, and they start caring for each other because they do encounter danger. They do encounter rough situations where they have to rely on each other, and so the trust was elevated, or you would say strengthened through all those challenges that they're having to go through. In this book, it's much different than the Golden Compass, and I was shocked because I was so taken away with the adventure in the Golden Compass that I couldn't wait to read this. And I love fantasy. I enjoy the ups and downs of the journey and the magicalness and fantasy and everything like that. But this book kind of it's more darker and more serious, and there's death, there's sorrow, there's heartache, heartbreak, and loss, and it's very heavy. It's a much heavier book. It's more like dramatic than a fantasy joyride adventure, along with all those things and magical creatures. That you do find some magical creatures there, but overall it was a lot. There was a lot more drama and problems than there were like heightened overcoming of problems along the way, where you're like rooting and wanting, I don't know, more excitement, put it that way. So there wasn't that much excitement in this book. But again, I think that he did a good job with the flow of book 2, where I think the main purpose again was to introduce you to Will. And Will has a very important role to play in book 3. As you read along, you discover that Will, I don't know if I should say this, but I don't think I'm going to give away too much if I do say this. Will gets into, within their adventure or search and discovery to find what they're both looking for, Will gets into a fight, an actual fight with a grown man. He gets into a fight and they are tussling, and he had no idea this guy has a knife. And Will and him throw down. They're like fighting, and Lyra is there, and she's like, oh my god, like in a panic. And Will is trying to, because it's either them or the man, because the man is attacking them. And Will is just fighting for his life, and he wins. He wins. And this knife is the subtle knife. And this knife has all the power and magical strength that is required to open up different portals into a new world. So now Will becomes the bearer of this magical, powerful knife. And he was unaware that he would have become the bearer of this. He had no idea, obviously. And the man, once you fight and get the knife is yours and belongs to you, until, you know, it belongs to somebody else in that same vein, I guess. But he now is the bearer of this knife. Again, he is a young kid, and he has this powerful magical weapon or magical device that can take them to so many different places that they've never seen before. We don't quite get to see so many new worlds with him having this knife, but now you get to uncovers more about their adventure. It changes the whole scope of things because something happens to him during that fight that does change him. And I'm not gonna spoil that for you, but something really crazy happens within that fight, and that was something else. But I'm gonna leave it at that, and I'll leave the mystery there. Him and Lyra continue their adventure from there. But I thought this book, despite the fact that I favor more a fantasy with lots of highs and some lows or whatever, but this was really like ground shake, like more like an even keel. There wasn't like lots of heightened, like, yes, they've overcome, because again, this is part of a trilogy. It's in the middle, so you're not getting to that point yet, or at least he didn't want to put a lot of wins for the characters in this particular in book 2. So you're like, I'm rooting for them, but at the same time it's like, man, when is something good gonna happen? Because I'm reading this and I want some fantasy. I want a little bit of joy sparkled in here. But in any case, it did leave me with the enough mystery and enough interest to really want to read the third book. And the third book is called The Amber Spyglass, and I can't wait to read it, and I will read it, and I'm very happy that I did finish this book. The important information comes up about Lyra's dad, what his intentions are, and why he's in this new world as well, and what role will Lyra and Will play in his dark plans. That's all I'm gonna say. But his plans, it continues the strife or opposition against the authority, which in the books is the church. People within the church abusing their power. What Lyra's dad is planning is really out there. Really out there. And Phillip Pullman really goes into more on the subject of the ultimate powers that be. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But the ultimate powers that be in relation to the church and religion, and what his plan is, I was very shocked that he went that way. But I'm very curious as to see I'm very curious to find out how far this is gonna go, because it's very controversial. It is very taboo to even mention things like that in the real world, right? And I'm saying this because I want to leave mystery there if you're gonna ever read this book, but it's really taboo. It's really a subject matter that you would be kind of like, one of those things that would bring up conversation of maybe opposition with other people or arguments and stuff like that. It's one of those sensitive topics. But in any case, her dad is off the charts with this. He's planning on doing something really outrageous, and I want to know how far it's gonna go. How far is this gonna go? I gave this book a 3 on Goodreads, and I do recommend it. I recommend The Golden Compass as well, which is book 1. You want to read that before you get to this. And again, I can't wait to read the third installment, The Amber Spyglass. I wanted to read an excerpt from the book, this book, The Subtle Knife. I thought it was really interesting, and you'll find it really relatable with what I just said as far as being in opposition with authority or people that you might feel like they are abusing power. At least in the book, that's what's happening. Every little increase in human freedom has been fought over ferociously between those who want us to know more and to be wiser and stronger, and those who want us to obey and be humble and submit. And I will leave you with that. So again, I highly recommend this book, and thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me make more videos. And have you read The Subtle Knife? Have you finished all 3? I would love to hear what your thoughts are if you read this book. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really does support me in making more videos. So on that note, guys, I will see you on the next one.